Hey folks, Fernando doing a video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case I'm going to be going through my Swiss Army knife Victorinox collection and making a few recommendations of the models I believe are best suited for each individual's needs, depending on which those may be. I'll have a few things to say there. Before I go on with this video, let me say thank to Sensible Prepper. Shout out for him, fantastic guy, great channel as you probably know, and he was recommending my books Surviving the Economic Collapse in his channel. Dude, I really appreciate that. Thanks a bunch. Also, for folks that don't know about it, Street Survival Skills. This is my latest book, and man, these two go together like bread and peanut butter. And sure, these are my books. This is the stuff I recommend, obviously enough, self-promotion and all, but I think it's so important, given everything that you're seeing right now, the context in which the United States is in. You want to know how to prepare yourself for a reality that you may not have lived through a whole lot. It is new for a lot of people, these levels of violence, these levels. I'm still shocked by some of the things I've seen. Some of those folks that were just having dinner in a restaurant, all of a sudden they have some lunatic attacking them out of nowhere. You see it in their faces, the denial, the shock, the not understanding. Why is this person attacking me? I've done nothing wrong. I haven't caused this person no harm. Why is he attacking me and being violent towards me? You need to understand this. You need to be a lot better prepared for that kind of violence, that kind of anarchy. Your awareness level has to be on a whole other level. Your self-defense also has to be at another level as well. It is just new rules that are catching a lot of people by surprise. Having said all that, let's get to this video. So a lot of people just don't want to drag around a big old multi-tool. I have no problem with that. I love my Leatherman Charge. I'm not going to be leaving it behind anytime soon. But one of the things I've learned over the years is, Fernando, what you like does not mean that someone else has to like it as well. Some people may have either different preferences, different needs, so what you like, what you need is not the same for everyone. Well, here I have a few of my Victorinox pocket knives, multi-tools, depending on how you consider them, and over the years, I've learned that some models are just best suited than others for a bunch of different needs. One of the models I like the most is the Mini Champ. The Mini Champ is the smallest format of Victorinox and is also the most complete in that format. It's packed full of small tools. I've gone through these many times. You have like well, you have your file, which this also works nicely as a flat Phillips screwdriver. You have your emergency blade. It's almost like a little scalpel. You have orange peeler, which I've used many times as a drill, so as to make holes in plastic and wood. Has worked well for me in that role. What else do I have? This other tool, which is a cuticle pusher. It also works like a big flat screwdriver, works okay for that, or like a little prime poking instrument within the limitations of the size of this tool. And then you have, well, a little ruler with a small flat screwdriver. On the other side, you have your Phillips screwdriver, which is magnetic, a proper Phillips. This works well in a number of small screws, very well designed. The main blade, which is also very tiny, and small scissors. You also have a pen, and you have an LED light, which I removed the battery so as to not have that leak in there. But this is the Mini Champ. It's it's the most complete small format Victorinox. Now the Mini Champ is what I use in my keychain. Instead of having the LED, I have a pen, which I find to be a little bit more useful, and I have also the tweezers in here. But it's a very complete mini multi-tool. Who would be liking this? Someone that wants to have like a minimalistic EDC setup, and you just want to have your car keys or your keychain, and that's all. This may be one of the more complete alternatives you have. If you want something even more light, you can go with the Manager, which is like a more compact version of the Mini Champ. You only have the file, flat screwdriver, and scissors on this side. On the other side, you have that nice Phillips screwdriver and the main blade. and then you have the tweezers and the pen. So it is a more like minimalistic version of the mini champ with some of the more useful tools that you have there without the ones you are likely to end up using the least, right? That's what I figure out, and I added it in my car keychain because I still found myself reaching for my for the pen, for sometimes even the little blade. So having it here, I kept it like this for a few months, and man, I realized that I was also using it. It was still, in spite of having one in each, it was still useful. So this is why I still have it there. Now, for someone that wants a very minimalistic ED setup, you just cannot do a lot better than this. The manager, it can be the midnight model, which has an LED, or my suggestion is get the one with a pen and tweezers and add a separate flashlight, a nice little flashlight like this one. This is a Night Court Tiki, fantastic. Maybe one of the best mini flashlights out there in the market. These two weigh nothing. I'll leave the link below for some of this stuff. You want to check it out on Amazon. But that's my advice for someone that has no desire to drag around anything large, big, heavy, or because of the way the clothes you wear, or maybe a woman that uses certain type of clothing that is not suited so as to have a big tool in the pocket. This, you can have it in your keychain, doesn't bother at all, and you still have a decent set of tools right there. There's different models of the mini champ. This is a one with the analog scales, well, the one I was just showing. There's the classic Victorinox format, but there's an in-between model. This is what's called the executive model, I believe, or ambassador. I think it's the executive model. And this one has a different type of orange peeler and a small flat screwdriver, a little knife. You have a decent size scissors there for you guys that like scissors, and you have this great nail file that actually works properly as a nail file and nail cleaner. This little tool I've used so many times as a flat Phillips screwdriver, and it actually works very well in that role. This would be like, oh man, I've had this for like 30 years easily, if I'm remembering right, and it's just one of those gentleman pocket knives kind of thing. It is that type of format. It just, if you wear like dress pants, a suit, you can have this in your pocket and you have a decent pocket knife, a gentleman pocket knife. Now the more classic Victorinox would be, and there's the classic Victorinox by name is the one that's like this, but just scissors and small blade, and it's just I think it's the best-selling Victorinox, the classic keychain model. But one of the more classic designs is the Spartan, which is the typical Victorinox size. In this format, you have just a decent sized blade. It's not too big, not too small, but good enough for more outdoor activities. You have a small secondary blade, you have the tiny flat screwdriver and can opener, and you have the large flat screwdriver, bottle cap lifter, and wire stripper, and on the other side you have corkscrew and the owl. Right, this is the Spartan, the classic Victorinox from your childhood, that if you were scouts, if you were backpacking, likely you had a Victorinox kind of similar like this one. Fantastic. Now there's other models, huge, packed full of stuff. I don't like something that's too large. I do like this one. This is the one I gave my son and my nephew same day for both of them. I wanted something for them to have in common, like building up those childhood memories. I gave each one of them this same pocket knife. I actually talked with my nephew recently, miss him a lot. Sending regards over there. He told me that he actually lost it, which kind of sucks, but I at least know that he has the memory of it, and that's what matters the most. Here you have, again, the blade, the blade, less worn out, of course. You have the main blade, you have a secondary blade. This is the Explorer model. I'll see if I find it and leave the links for you guys. Then you have nice scissors, nice big scissors. You have the magnifier. You could use this for reading something very tiny or starting a fire, a large Phillips screwdriver, and then screwdriver, cap lifter, bottle opener, can opener, and small screwdriver. And you have your corkscrew and your owl with a hole for sewing, that sort of thing. This is actually useful for sewing leather. If you have to make some quick repairs or something very sturdy, you can actually use it. I've done it before and it works nicely. If you have like a floss or some other very thick thread, you can put some strong stitches using that. And the toothpick and tweezers. The model in this format that I like the most is actually this one. It is almost like the Spartan, but instead of having the corkscrew, you get a big Phillips screwdriver, which I think is a much better idea. Then you have, of course, the main blade, nice blade. It's not locking or anything, but you have a decent sized blade there. Secondary blade, which I also like to have. Cap lifter, bottle opener, and big flat screwdriver, a can opener, and small screwdriver. And the addition, almost like seamlessly so, because it doesn't seem like that much of a big difference, you have a wonderful, beautiful, nice size saw, which works very well. It is one of the most useful tools you can have in your Victorinox. If you have to cut, a branch or something, or amputate someone's arm, you can use this, and it cuts very, very well. It even strikes a fire steel very nicely. It doesn't lock into place, but using your thumb so as to keep it in place, boom, you go like that, and you have showers of spark without a problem. This is the one I recommend for someone that wants, okay, I want to have a classic Victorinox. I don't want to have a bunch of crap, but I want the essentials and maybe a tad more that's going to be covering most of my needs, really. This is the one. It is affordable. I leave the link. It's like 30 bucks if I'm remembering correctly, and it's a great multi-tool made in Switzerland that will last you a lifetime. Now, moving into some of the bigger size models, you have the Soldier series. This is the first Soldier, if I'm remembering right. You had the main blade, you have the cap lifter, bottle opener, can opener, and you have the owl in this size, and you have nothing on this other side. If I'm remembering right, this was the first Switzerland pocket knife made by Victorinox for their armed forces. Then it moved towards the German army knife, pocket knife, which is the traditional gag knife. You have a little bit of a larger blade. It's a bigger format, so you have a decent sized blade, and you have that nice saw. It's not as nice as in the newer models, but this was back in the day, so they combined the saw with the cap lifter, bottle opener, and screwdriver. This saw cuts very well anything that's green, vegetation. I like the newer one a little bit better, but this is what you got back in the day with this model, and that's it on this other side. And here you have the owl, and you have the corkscrew. This was the Soldier model, and used by the German armed forces as well. Now, there's another model that I used quite a bit in my youth and as a young backpacker back in the day, which is, I think it's a Trail Master. I want to think, I don't know if it's hiker trail, whatever it is. It's this model, which is very, very nice. It's the largest size of a format from Victorinox, and it's not single-handed opening, but you have a nice like 3.5 inch blade that locks into place. Having a lock makes all the difference. I've used this blade for a long time in different outings, and being very careful with my gear, as I always am. You're not going to be seeing me making many of these destruction videos. I take care of my stuff because I want to preserve it. This is a knife that you wouldn't believe how much I've worn it. I actually chipped that tip very badly and managed to fix it. Yeah, just something, I don't even remember what it was, but it was something that needed to be done, and the tip of the knife had to be sacrificed. You may see a little bit of a dent still there, but I managed to fix it again pretty well. And this blade, man, it's been around and it's done its job. But locking into place, that's a big advantage. Then you have, a can opener, you have your screwdriver, a cap lifter, a nice pair of scissors. These are very big, and a wonderful long saw, which I've used a lot, and it's great. I love this saw here. And you have the corkscrew, owl, and that little tiny screwdriver. This one has been great for me over the years. Now, This is the one that inspired the latest generation of the soldier, and the improvements, I couldn't agree more. If I had been sitting there, I would have told them to do exactly what they did. So it makes perfect sense for me. First of all, single-handed opening and the blade locks, of course. That is just fantastic the way it is. It's a great, this would be the one that I would recommend for someone that wants a larger pocket knife combination multi-tool without the pliers. If you don't want a multi-tool and you just want a nice folder that has some of those Victorinox tools and you don't mind the larger size, the soldier is the one that I recommend. You get the best blade of the series, locks into place, good size, you get a fantastic saw, long, cuts great. You have your can opener and small screwdriver, and you have this screwdriver cap lifter bottle opener, but it's also, I don't know if you notice it, it's also intended to be used as a prying tool. Not going to be saying pry bar, but a prying tool, certainly so. It was designed specifically like that for a soldier to open crates, whatever it is that they needed to open, you would use this tool for that. Notice how it's oversized, overbuilt compared to a traditional cap lifter, bottle opener, large screwdriver, and also locks into place for that intended use. That's why this one is locking there too. All right, so this is the one that I think works best. Then I have a couple more. I have the Mauser series. This is a limited edition, the Safari Hunter, which is similar but in red. So man, yeah, lots of different Victorinox. I have a few more floating around there, but these would be the ones, the models I recommend for those needs. Mini Champ Manager for someone very minimalistic, mid-size, a hiker, and if you want to go full size, best, sturdiest of them all, soldier model. Folks, subscribe to the channel, check the links below. Have an awesome day. See you in our next video.